All right, and before we get started, go ahead and go to the next slide, please. There is a bit of a disclaimer here. The views and policies and actions expressed during the presentation are those of the speaker and do not imply the expression of opinion of OLA or OKSL. The presentation is not intended to provide legal advice. If you have any legal questions, we do recommend that you go and speak to your school district, your administration, your school board. So go seek legal advice from them. So, and so I'd like to go ahead and next slide, please, Latasha. I'd like to introduce Latasha McKinney, who is a library media specialist at Emerson North Alternative High School, and she will have the opportunity to talk a little bit more about herself. So, Latasha.
Sorry about that, guys. Of course, I started on mute. All right. My name is Latasha McKinney, and I'm a library media specialist at Emerson North Alternative High School. It's located in Oklahoma City's diverse Midtown area. I also serve on the high school Sequoia reading team. This is my 3rd year. I'm a former English teacher. I taught English for several years before becoming high school librarian. And I've always been bookish like my whole life. So most of the time work doesn't even feel like work, and that's amazing. All right, so before we begin, we're gonna talk about, now these are free-ish, right? So some of these are paid subscriptions and databases, but I'm gonna show you how you can utilize them at no cost. Also, some of these are limited access. So there are certain websites, resources, databases that allow you to view them, but like in limited capacity. So maybe it's like 3, 4, 6 articles per month. And lastly, we're going to talk about eyes and ears on the page, because we can't read everything, but I read about 100 books a year, because that's all I can fit in. At this point in my life, maybe later on that number will increase, but I'll always say, like, when we talk about the selection tools, your best bet is to vet, like, especially in this climate. I would say listen to audiobooks for like the thicker books, listen to the audiobooks, also flip through the graphic novels. And I get it, guys, like context and nuance matters, but also right now we're dealing with the public. So, you know, I would say if anything looks like it could be interpreted as pornographic material, if there's any nudity and such, I would say maybe best not put that on the shelves, especially right now. And I get it. Context and nuance does matter, but like I said, these are trying times. All right. Okay, so we're gonna get into some of these selection tools. I think I listed like 10, but this is not the end all be all. And I'm also gonna mention a few more outside of what I have listed here. So the first one though, I decided to start with my favorite. The first one is the Novel List Plus. If you stay, I believe Oklahoma City and Oklahoma City Metro Library, and I think Pioneer offers this. as one of the databases, you just have to use your library card number, and your last name is your password. So there's a couple of things that I love about Nautilus. I'm sorry, Novelist. If you go to the teen section, they have all kinds of genres and subtopics. But what I really love is if there's a title that you're like, oh man, I'm seeing this title everywhere, or I've heard one or two of the kids mention this, I'm thinking about purchasing it, but maybe you don't, like I said, I know we can't read everything, but like say Monday's Not Coming. That one's super popular at my school. It's not even new, but it's super popular still. So if I was curious about it, like let's say I hadn't purchased it yet, I can come here, I can see, oop, it's an award winner. I can go look at the reviews. It has multiple starred reviews, one from School Library Journal, another from Publishers Weekly. And you can even read the reviews for the people that didn't give it star reviews. And then and that's what I love about it, because you can see all the reviews in one place. There's some other things that I love about this too. This is really great for Reader's Advisory, but I'm gonna go back to our list. The next one up is School Library Journal. School Library Journal is limited capacity, so I think they allow you to read four articles monthly. So sometimes I just look at the starred reviews and see which ones got stars, and then either request or put them on hold at the library. You can also look at the book list, and I would come down to if you're high school, whatever grade you teach, go to that grade. If you're high school, I would go to YA because they update that one frequently. And like I said, you can read 4 articles a month. So I try to always read these because you get your bang for your buck on these. It's a lot of information. So I'll go ahead and click this one. And maybe I've already run out, but okay, no, I haven't. All right, so you can see the picture books, middle grade, YA, graphic novels, nonfiction, all of those that got star reviews for that particular month. Now, if you click on any of those links and read the individual reviews, then it will count against your 4 for the month. Okay, and then sometimes they'll have like teen librarians do book reviews. Those actually don't count against your 4. Like if the reviews on their blog of a title, those don't count against your 4 for the month. So that's also nice. Third one is hi, come again? Okay, never mind. All right, so next one is the Kirkus book reviews. On this one, these are all free. There's no cap. That's great, right? You read all the reviews you want. Again, I'm a high school librarian, so I tend to hang out here in the teen area. And then you can filter this however you like for like age, category, rating. So you know how School Library Journal has where it's just the start reviewed section. If you wanted to see that here, you just go to rating, click Kirkus stars only, and apply. Okay. And see, now you have all stars. All right. And they have one for graphic novels too. So next up on the list is Goodreads. Now, here's why I like Goodreads. Every individual reader gets to review the book. You can read reviews for books that haven't come out yet. Now, they do have some reviewers that put spoilers, but I actually like that. So that way we can see everything that's happening in the book, even, if we don't have time, especially if we don't have time to get to it. I follow a lot of other librarians, so that helps because it's like a, team effort and from all over the state. So you can see how they feel about books. You can see how different authors feel about books. You can, and I'm gonna talk about another one. I didn't put it on the list, but I'm gonna talk about another one here in a minute for if you're interested in what the authors are reading. But okay, so let's see. There's a book. Oh, I love this book. Let's see. So this came out last year. Is this Golden State, Merritt Weisenberg? You're like, oh, it has good reviews. It's averaging 4.10. Okay, you can see the genres it's classified. It's like a mystery thriller. I say more thriller, but yeah, it's a little bit of a mystery. And they also have some similar reads. Oh, as an aside, Message Nat Found is also really good. So if you scroll down, you can go through and read some of the reviews. I love to, if sometimes just look at the lowest reviews of a book to see everything that they thought was problematic with it. Okay. Now this one. Okay, so one thing that I learned on the high school Sequoia Reading Committee is that there are some people who are triggered by dogs dying in books. Like that really upsets them. And before serving on the committee, I didn't really know that that was a thing, but it is good to know because you're like, okay, yeah, some people would have a sensitivity to that. So there's actually a site called Does the Dog Die? And it's for everything, like movies, books, everything, television series, like Netflix series, all that. You type it in and they'll tell you if the dog dies, if the dog was hurt, if the dog maybe wasn't hurt in real life, but is depicted as being hurt. So that's also very interesting. So you can look out for your kitties who have a great love for dogs. Next one up, We Need Diverse Books. Okay. They have a very extensive collection on where you can find diverse books, diverse bookstores. I like looking at this for the American Indian, because they have good like indigenous titles, because I feel like that's one area I struggle with, because they say your collection should mirror the demographic of your school. Or in Oklahoma, we have quite a few children who are Native. And so I'm always on the lookout to get as many quality Native American books as possible. And there are more and more being published, I feel like, with each passing year. So I feel like that is getting easier with time. Okay. Okay, I don't want to rush through, but you see, they got the African diaspora, American Indian, Asian American. I actually use this one, the book boxes, to steal ideas. I do Bento Box Book Club, which is like our version of Owl Crate. And I usually do about 10 of those a month, and they kids snatch them up pretty quick. You can look at the different book awards. Oh, also, I'll talk about that later. I'm sorry. Books that are ability diverse, Islam, Jewish, LGBT plus, Latin and Latinx, multicultural and general diversity resources. So, I mean, like, as you can see, it's quite an extensive list. I can't wait to hear from you guys. I can't wait till we get to the questions and answers part. All right. Now, this one is a more fun one, but Epic Reads. So you can learn about books. Sometimes they even have like previews of copies of the books. Not like you can't preview the whole book on here, but they'll may have like a couple of chapters. But they do really cute curation, and they have like, I love the pop culture connection, and the quizzes are fun. That's a more cutesy one. Also, if you are a member of ALA, AASL, NetGalley is great because you can preview like whole books. You just have to write reviews for them. Now, I would say be conservative in the number of books. I have not, and that means sometimes I spend whole Saturdays writing book reviews because so excited about a certain book that is coming out, and that I see it come up here, and then I'll just get everything that I love and read it, because you can do the ebooks. They also have audiobooks, and you can do the audiobooks on here as well. So like, let's see. Well, For Lamb is out now, but they have, oh, this one's not out yet. The Divine Rival one. Oopsies. Also, I've listened to Blood Debts. That one doesn't come out, I think, until like March or April. But I've already, I've already been able to enjoy it. But you get access to more copies if you actually put in your ALA and AASL number, your little membership number. You put that in, you actually have more access. I feel like you get what they call the automatic approvals, to where you don't have to request each one. Just like, they just give them to you. I struggle with saying this name. The Edelweiss. It's just like NetGalley. I don't use this one as much, but they also have titles that you can preview before they come out in exchange for an honest review. They just want feedback. Okay. And then I would say TikTok and Instagram, because you have the book talks, and you have Bookstagram, and I have some favorites. There are a few people that I follow. YA Book Central, they have a good Bookstagram. I would say all of Random House, all their Instagram pages are really good. My favorite Random House Instagram page is actually called Always.
Friended me.
Yay. So one of my favorite Instagram pages from Random House is called Always Black. And they're so hilarious. Like, I want to say probably in high school, once I was introduced to Toni Morrison, I started reading a lot of Black authors. And so sometimes they do little like mashups between a whole bunch of the books, like with just the characters. And it's really cute. Like I'll share more with you about that, but I'm trying to think. There's so many. Okay, so the other one I didn't list, but I wanted to mention is 5 books. That's where it's like, have you ever played that game, Top 5? And it's like, so you and your friends like top 5 rappers of all time, and then you got to like list off on your hands the greatest that you feel in your opinion. And so it's pretty much like that, but like with authors. And so they'll say top 5 YA thrillers, or and it could be for that year, it could be of all time. But they're really fun, they're really cute. And that's another one that I love. I want to jump into these questions and answers. I can't wait to hear from you guys. Do you guys have any questions for me? Hello?
I don't have any questions so far.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, that's pretty much it. If you guys, you can feel free to follow me. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I would love to talk more about this with you all.
Latasha, I have a question real quick. Do
Yeah.
you mind going back to your list?
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm very interested in the reviews. So the NetGalley and the Edelweiss, do they have specific formats that you have to follow to get when you submit the reviews? Is it real formal? I mean, do you have to be a really good writer? Because that sounds a little intimidating, but I love the idea of getting those books early.
Okay, it can be as formal or as informal as you'd like. I have a tendency to be a little more formal, and I don't know if that's just like also that English teacher background, because I don't know, but I tend to be more formal, but you don't have to. So because I've seen people where like their review is like very more like opinion, whereas mine is maybe a little bit more objective. So it depends on the reviewer.
So they're not going to like come back and say, nope, your review wasn't any good. You need to pay us a $24.99 for the book.
Not at all.
Okay. Another thing, and I don't mean to take over here, but as far as you have tons of resources, which I appreciate. As far as like you're thinking about a book, say your teachers come to you and say, hey, I want this book. So you have to do your due diligence based on your policy at your school. What is your policy and how do you decide where to go and how many reviews you do? And like, how do you decide if that book should belong in your collection?
It has to have at least 2 positive reviews. So I would probably, first thing I would do is probably go to Novelist Plus. That's my favorite one because you'll have all the reviews in one place. And then also I look for sensitivity. I do sensitivity screening. Like, was there a trigger warning? I work in an alternative school. So sometimes the teachers and the students want books that are a little grittier than, probably most YA books. And so my whole thing is there a trigger warning? And so I read the reviews, see if there's a trigger warning. If it's a graphic novel, especially from all the things that have occurred as of late, I look through all the pictures, and if there's like any nudity whatsoever, that is, you know what I mean? that's a denial just because like I said, because of the climate that we're in. And like I said, I know context and nuance matters, but like I feel like we're under a great deal of scrutiny right now. So probably being you can't go wrong with being overly cautious right now. But yeah, so the way I would decide if the book gets on the shelf, does it have 2 positive reviews? And also if it is a little racier or grittier, are there trigger warnings in the book? Did that answer your question?
Yes, it does. It does. So have you had anyone come to you with like a concern or a challenge or something where you have had to defend the book that's in your collection and you've had to go back and use these selection tools to defend that?
Yes, I had one person ask me to remove a book because there were 2 boys kissing in the book. And but it had multiple star reviews and it was an award-winning book. And you know, I mentioned how like if they wanted the book removed, they'd have to read the book in its entirety. At that time, it was you have to read the book in its entirety. You have to write a paper saying why you want the book removed, and then you have to go before the school board and tell them. And then after all of that, the person said, well, I don't want people to think I'm homophobic. And so then they decided that they didn't want the book removed anymore. Especially after I told them, like, you have to go before the school board and explain to them. And they were like, well, that's going to make me look bad. So that handled it. But like I said, climate is changing. And I think they're leaning towards making it easier to get books banned, which is unfortunate. So, but always, I would say lean on these selection tools, definitely. Like be able to come with, you know, your argument as to why you purchased it and put it on the shelf in the first place.
I don't mean to be taken over, but which one of these, maybe your top 3, I won't say top 5 maybe, but top 3 have like the most professional clout, you know, that have the, you could say, well, this, you know, selection tool stands behind this or gave it a starred review, and maybe discuss a little bit about like the importance of a starred review. Can you tell us about that?
The top 3, Novelist
Like,
Plus, School
well,
Library
that have
Journal.
like of these selection tools that might have like the most professional clout, that is like the most, because it feels like some of them are a little maybe more informal and
Mhm.
maybe some are more formal. So
Okay, yeah. Oh, so the top 3 on the list: Novelist Plus, School Library Journal, and Kirkus Book Reviews. And also go with that, Publishers Weekly. What's the other one? I can't think, but yeah, like Publishers Weekly, School Library Journal, Kirkus Book Reviews, Novelist Plus, because you can find all of those in one place. Star reviews means that it was already heavily vetted, like before you know, even have to go in there. And it has a lot of literary merit. You know, it's not just trendy, but the book actually has a lot of literary merit. Did that answer your question?
yes, it did. I'm going to give everyone else an opportunity to ask questions, so I'll be quiet for a little bit. Well, it doesn't sound like anyone else has any questions. So if you want to go back to that information page. Thank you so much for sharing those resources and those selection tools. I was at the LibLearnX conference a couple weekends ago in New Orleans, and I stopped by, I think it was School Library Journal booth, and the paid subscription for those can be exorbitant. So I was talking to them about that, and they gave me some information. I was going to pass it on to, candidates in our program at NSU. And I was just flabbergasted about how much they wanted us to pay to have access to these reviews and things. So having the information about where to find those free options is very helpful. So thank you for bringing that to us. It's great. Some school districts do provide, funding for that. So if you are in a school district that does provide that, please utilize those paid resources. But if you don't have that, then it's important that we're able to locate those cheaper or free resources. So and we do have to use those to build our collection, and then oftentimes have to go back to those to defend our decisions when we're faced with a challenge, or just a teacher or administrator or parent that comes to us and asks us why we have something in our collection. So thank you so much, Latasha. I appreciate that information. And again, here's information. Please feel free to email me at OKSL at oklibs.org if you have any questions, information. We do have a couple more sessions coming up. The next one is March 29th, and it will be about weeding your collection. We'll have Dr. Stacy Schrank and Dr. Shelley Sharber speaking to us. And I will be sending out more information about how to register for that. And I hope to see you then. And thank you for joining us this afternoon.